Good morning. This is George Samir Riad, ESL 66, attending with group ESL 67, the Consumer Behavior course supervised by Dr. Rihan Farouk. I'm presenting today the summary of the research paper, How to Shift Consumer Behavior to be More Sustainable. I shall be covering the following points in this video. Marketing and sustainable behavior, shifting consumers to behave sustainably, shift framework, challenges to sustainability, how to use shift framework in practice, and conclusion. So to start with, marketing and sustainable consumer behavior. Marketeers should be aware of the negative environmental impacts of conventional marketing and adapt to the demands of sustainability. Research suggests that socially and environmentally responsible practices have the potential to increase positive consumer perceptions and profitability. Here steps in the term sharing economy, which shows the significant environmental and economic gains attainable by shifting customers in the sustainable way. Number two, shifting consumers to behave sustainably. Conventional marketing promotes expansion, the never-ending pursuit of gratifying needs and desires, and appears to view resources as limitless. On the contrary, a sustainability perspective acknowledges that resources and the environment have a finite amount of capacity, and that utilized resources can be replenished by imitating the circular flows of resources in nature. So the acronym SHIFT, S-H-I-F-T, which stands for social conditioning, habit modification, individual self, feelings and comprehension, and tangibility, has emerged as a result of our review of the literature and emphasizes the significance of taking into account how these factors can be used to promote more sustainable consumer behaviors. We define sustainable consumer behaviors as decisions that reduce the negative environmental effects. So, in order to achieve more sustainable results, we study the consumption process, including information seeking, decision making, adoption of products or behaviors, product usage, and product disposal. Hence, the voluntary reduction or simplification of consumption could be considered as a sustainable consumer behavior in the first place. Now, I will start the shift framework. It starts with the social influence. So it's the initial method for changing to sustainable consumer behavior. The presence, actions, and expectations of others frequently have an impact on consumers. One of the most important aspects for changing customer behavior is sustainable way is social issues. So number two, the social norms. Social norms or opinions about what seems socially acceptable in a certain setting can have a significant impact on sustainable consumer behavior. Descriptive norms, which refers to what a selected group of people commonly do. People frequently underestimate the power of descriptive norms, which can be more effective predictor of sustainable consumer habits than other elements like self-interest. Although the descriptive norms are frequently quite effective, stressing a descriptive norm may accidentally result in declines in the desired action. Social identities. The social influence is affected by individuals' social identities or feeling of identity derived from group affiliations. For instance, if other members of in-group are doing sustainable measures, customers are more likely to follow. Also, being an in-group member improves the effect of how you receive messages relevant to being a green consumer. Social desirability. Social identities also have the added connotation that people want to see their in-groups viewed favorably and do not want to see their in-group outperformed by other groups. Second point, it's the habit formation. Habits are activities that are repeated because they have evolved into relatively automatic responses to frequent contextual inputs. Habit modification is a crucial part of sustainable behavior change because many typical habits are not sustainable. So to start with is to discontinuity of the bad habits. According to habit discontinuity theory, it becomes challenging to engage in the typical behaviors that would occur if the situation in which habits emerge change in some manner. In other words, the optimum environment for habit modification can be created by a disruption in the predictable context where automatic actions emerge. Number two, it's making things easier. A barrier to taking sustainable action can be the perception that many sustainable acts are difficult, time-consuming, or labor-intensive to complete. Making the activity easier to perform is thus one method for promoting the development of long-lasting habits. Number 3, the prompts. Using the prompts and messages delivered before an action is taken to notify the consumers of the intended sustainable behavior is another strategy for promoting the development of sustainable habits. Such type of encouraging messages should be clear, well communicated and in proximity in place where the behavior will be carried out. Number 3, the individual self. People want to preserve positive self-views, and consuming can reflect the self-positivity concepts. Number 4, the feeling and cognition. In general, consumers adopt one of two possible paths to action. First is more motivated by affect, or the second one, which is more motivated by cognition. For this reason, we introduce the ideas of feelings and cognition together. So we begin by outlining the effects of both good and negative emotions on pro-environmental behavior. Then by considering information and learning, eco-labeling and framing, we analyze the role of cognition in deciding sustainable activities. In general, it's necessary to refrain from inducing extreme negative emotional states. Coming to the positive sides, it has been demonstrated that people who feel proud are more likely to go on to engage in sustainable behaviors, in part because pride heightens emotions of effectiveness. So this can be achieved by providing information. One fundamental strategy for encouraging customers is to do eco-friendly actions, is to provide them with knowledge about desired and undesirable behaviors and their effects. More engagement and responsiveness is associated with more shared knowledge. Eco-labeling, when the consumers are able to better take eco-friendly decisions if the labels are eye-catchy, simple to read, and consistent across categories. Framing, marketeers should focus on communicating future losses than gains. Consumers would be more attentive if the message states a comparison of energy cost than comparison of the saved energy. Tangibility, it's the ability of the environmentally beneficial behaviors and effects to appear ethereal, vague, and remote from the consumer is one distinctive feature of sustainable consumption. Because changes take time to manifest and there is uncertainty regarding the causes of issues and potential solutions, pro-environmental results are challenging to monitor and quantify. Temporal focus. Consumers are frequently present focused in contrast to sustainability, which is inherently future focused. Although also when consumers perceive an environmental benefit to be far off in the future, they find it less appealing now. So the consumers of more future focus tend to engage more. Challenges to sustainability. Number 1, it's the self-other trade-off. First, consumers frequently perceive sustainable purchasing behavior as having a cost to themselves, such as additional effort, increased expense, worse quality, or inferior aesthetics. Despite the fact that the conventional theory of consumer behavior states that people only select and utilize goods and services in ways that fulfill their own desires and needs. Although engaging in sustainable purchasing generally has a cost to the self, we contend that identity signaling might have the benefits for the self that outweigh that cost. Long-term horizon. The fact that sustainable habits require a lengthy time horizon for results to be realized is our second hurdle to sustainability. Asking people to engage in environmentally friendly behavior always means that some of the benefits won't materialize until later. Many of traditional consumers will not likely witness the effect of sustainable behavior during their lifetime. How to use the shift framework in practice. We observe that there is no one method for changing behavior that the framework deems to be optimal. Instead, we advise the practitioners comprehend the particular behavior, the setting in which it will occur, the intended audience for the intervention, and the drawbacks and advantages connected to the conduct. Due to having multiple barriers accordingly, more than one tactic will achieve better impact. Conclusion, as a result of our review and classification of the behavioral science literature, we have identified 5 major psychological approaches that can be used to promote long-lasting changes in consumer behavior. Number 1, social influence. Number 2, habit formation. Number 3, the individual self. 4, feeling and cognition. 5, tangible experiences. In the end, we believe that our framework will encourage a shift in consumer behavior towards sustainability and give businesses looking to run sustainably the tools they need to achieve both their sustainability and strategic businesses objective. Thank you.